Well, hello, Koenig Clan. Wow, you guys are doing a great job. You know, I've always been proud of being a Koenig. As growing up and like I posted, whenever somebody'd ask me who I was or whatever, and I would be very fast to tell them. Didn't take me long to let them know that I was Reuben Koenig's grandson. My grandpa Reuben, your uncle, a lot of yours uncle, was a great guy. He was a butcher, and he was a great guy. He used to tell stories, and I wanted to be able to videotape him, but God took him too quick, and I wasn't able to. He was a strong guy, and the Koenigs were just strong. My grandfather was only about 5'10", I think, maybe 5'9". But his little finger was as big as my thumb, and I'm 6'4". And Superior's got some pretty good arm wrestlers, and I wasn't too bad, but I wasn't as good as a lot of the guys there from Superior. In fact, we had some world ranked arm wrestlers. But when I was in the service, I held the San Antonio arm wrestling for 3 years, the San Antonio Lackland Air Force Base, and then I traveled around Texas and also arm wrestled. But did you know that at the age of 80, Reuben Koenig could almost beat me? And so, he used to say, I want to live to be 100. And because Aunt Julia lived a long time, I think she lived to be 99. Incredible. I believed it. And, he would have what everybody thought was chest pain. But inevitably, what it turned out to be was his gallbladder. And that was his demise. He went into the hospital. He had severe pain, and he had a ruptured gallbladder, which will mimic, I know because I'm a cardiac nurse, will mimic heart condition. So the whole time he was having, chest pain and taking nitroglycerin, it was probably his gallbladder. So it was an unfortunate way to die. I think if had they had discovered the gallbladder, maybe he would be with us today. I don't know. But he was a good guy. He was a funny guy. I would go out to his house and shovel his snow, because I didn't want him to be doing it. And then later I would be coming down to South Superior and go by Holy Assumption, and there he was out there shoveling the snow on the sidewalk at the Holy Assumption. One of the stories he used to tell. I tell you, he was a butcher, and he told a story, and he always talked in the dialect. But I'm not going to even try to do what he'd do. So if it was a Jewish woman, he'd speak like they were Jewish or German or Norwegian or whatever. And he said the woman came in, and he was bringing the ham to her, and the ham slipped out of his hand and onto the floor, the sawdust floor. And he said, "Oh boy, but I gotta throw that away." The woman said, "Oh, Reuben, don't throw that away. Just trim it off, wash it off, and just sell it. Nobody will tell the difference." So he went back in the back of the room to get a new ham. Yeah. And what he did was he went back there, washed it, trimmed off the areas that wouldn't wash off with the sawdust, and he sold it to her. So that maybe it didn't seem funny. The way he told it, it was funny. But he tells little stories that were pretty funny. There was a story that was not his story, but Uncle Greg. Greg talked like this. He was a deep voice. "How you doing, kids?" We'd go out to Uncle Greg's. He lived in a little tiny house out there, not too far from where my grandpa Reuben and my grandmother Lily lived. And you always have candy to give you. But and Uncle Greg had a messed up arm. It was really damaged. He evidently had an accident in a cement mixer years and years ago. I don't know how many of you can remember that, but Uncle Greg was a big guy, and he used to work in Chicago with the Revards for a while, I guess, and they were doing some kind of high rise or big building. And he came down, and there was a black gentleman, and he had behind his back he had a 2x4, and he came walking up to Uncle Greg. Evidently, somebody had been up in the high rise and had to go to the bathroom, and I'm not talking about number one. And the guy came up from behind. He said, "Greg, did you crap?" I know, doesn't seem too funny maybe when I do it, but it was funny the way they told it. It was just the way they told it. So I have great memories, and you guys are doing really good. When you post on here, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you're living. Tell us who your relatives are. If you have any stories, tell the stories. Uncle Charlie, wasn't he just a crazy fun guy? He would come up, and I can remember he'd get playing that chicken song and doing that chicken dance, and he was hilarious. And he always, just was always had time for anyone. When I last time I saw him, I sang some of my songs because I was early in my songwriting, and he was nothing but listened to me intently and encouraged me. He had all the time in the world for me. And that's the way Uncle Charlie was. I really, really enjoyed him. Just like all y'all have great memories of Uncle Charlie. Uncle Fred. Uncle Fred was great. He had two children, Mary Lou and Freddie. But I can remember Uncle Fred. I can remember when I was a kid, he dressed up as Santa Claus. I can remember that. We were living out in East End, and I can remember he'd take me fishing, and we'd go fishing and ice fishing and catch perch. And Uncle Fred was a great, great guy. I really enjoyed him. He had a family reunion back in the late '60s, I believe. But I can remember being there. I can remember playing with Mike Knutson and Bobby Knutson, and I can remember, Billy Koenig. Billy is Uncle George's grandson, I believe. I remember he's older than us, and the only thing that comes to my mind is that I believe he had what was an orange GTO, uh, and it was a really nice car. That's what I remember that my cousin Billy had, and I didn't really know him because he was older. But I'm so glad that we were able to do this on Facebook because we have the ability to just see each other. And who knows, maybe this will spark another reunion. I had forgotten that Betty had had a reunion until my daughter had mentioned it. And now that she mentioned it, I remember that there was a little reunion a while back. But here I see we have cousins that are from, geez, cousins I never even thought of, that I've never even heard of, which is really nice because as a Koenig family, being 11, there was 12 originally, 11 that survived. Because I think there was the youngest, I believe, was I'm thinking the name was Oliver. He was what they call a blue baby, and they weren't at that time. They didn't have what they could do for those children. It had to do with the heart, and so their skin was blue. And he didn't live long. I think he lived to 2 years old, maybe. I'm not sure, but I'll have to ask my mother. The pictures that you see are pictures that my mother has been collecting. I asked her if she could send those, and I wasn't sure that I was going to get them that quickly, so I want to say thanks, Mom, because she put those together. She's in the midst of going back up north. She got remarried to Ron Kozwalski. My father died 7 years ago. He's a great guy. He came from the same neighborhood my dad did. So I'm just telling you a little bit about what I know about our family. I took care of Uncle Claude um, in the nursing home when he was in the nursing home. When I was going to school to be a nurse, I worked as an orderly, and I took care of Uncle Claude. He was a strong guy, let me tell you that. And so I got to take care of Uncle Claude. I didn't really remember too much about Joseph, who was the oldest boy. He had died from cancer of the lungs, I understand, but I don't remember him. I do remember Uncle George, and I do remember, like I said, Uncle Clyde. I got to know really well Uncle Greg, and my Uncle Jerry, who is deceased. That's my mother's brother, the oldest of Reuben and Lillian's children. He was a police officer, and he was really um, I want to say idolized a little bit Uncle Charlie, and he played the clarinet, and he was really good at playing the clarinet in high school. And then when he was younger, he actually was in a band, and he played in local establishments as a kid, and was really good at playing in the clarinet. He also was a boxer and did well at boxing. He was a Golden Glove boxer, and so he passed on. He had Lou Gehrig's disease, and he passed away. So 3 or 4 years ago. So who else? Aunt Ann. I remember Aunt Ann. Really have fond memories of going out. And my mother corrected me. I said going out to their farm. I said, well, Mom, they had cows. Well, she said it wasn't really a farm. They had a house and a barn. Well, what is a house and a barn? That's a farm, right? I don't know. I got to give my mom a little hard time. So, any of you Andersons, am I wrong to say that that was a farm? Because I don't really remember too much. I know that y'all lived out there in Butler Park where the family came from. Uh, Mike Knutson and I went to school together. Mike's a good guy. We had a great time. We knowing that we were cousins. Um, Judy Trisco, who I believe is Uncle Claude's granddaughter, and Denise went to school with me. And Judy is a great gal. We hung around together, and Judy, I have fond memories of Judy. So I don't know how many of you went to school with cousins, but that was kind of nice to go there. And well, I don't know what more to say, but this is a great, great opportunity for people to get together and see. We had 26 after the first day, and I think 39 the next day. And I just look for it to keep going and just keep telling your relatives and the ones that aren't on the Facebook, ask them to get on Facebook, even if it's just for this, because this could be just a good time. Look, I'm rambling on here, but just want to say hi, cousins, and I'll just put these little updates every once in a while and just keep on putting pictures. And I encourage you to tell stories. And if you want to make a video like I did, make a video. If you don't, that's okay. But oh, I got memories of Rob Koenig. There's Rob Koenig there. You can see him. And Rob, he's the grandson of Greg, and his father was Jim. And they moved to Superior for a while. I believe I was in seventh grade, and I got to go with Robin. I'll tell you a little story. He was out to the cabin where my grandfather's Big Lake McGraw. We decided to go out into the woods, and we had my BB gun, and we saw some what we thought were old junk cars. I mean, come on, you're out in the woods and you see cars out in the woods, and they're not new cars. So we started to shoot out headlights, and well, you know what kids do. Well, they were collectible cars, I guess, and the guy was collecting them, and we got in just a little bit of trouble, and that was I say it was Robin's fault because I don't think I would have done that. I think Robin was egging me on. Was that right, Robin? Wasn't it you? You see, Rob's a pilot. Pretty cool. Rob flies for FedEx, and Rob's a good guy. He's a little too good looking though. If you're a guy and you go with Robin, that's all the girls are looking at Robin. Well, that's all right. Maybe I got the gift for gab though, right, Rob? All right. Listen, Robin and I keep in touch with each other. He lives down there close to Madison, and I value our friendship as well as him being my cousin. All right, so that's it. Take care. Love you all. Don't know y'all, but I love you. And let's see if we can't put together a reunion. Wouldn't that be great? Maybe we can put together a reunion right there in Superior, and we'll see. Right now, this is just fun. So God bless and take care. Bye bye, cuz. Sin.